show you what you need to do today, as well as how to prepare for your final, how the seniors are going to be turning in their finals, and how the rest of us are going to be completing these projects. So you'll notice when you go to modules, right underneath Week at a Glance, there is now a final section. Okay. However many of these small assignments for the final that we do, they will all live in this final module right here. So if you don't see them, please remind me, because I probably just forgot to add them to the group. Okay, so if we look at your agenda from 6.2 to 6.6, you will see we're going to wireframe our final project. This is part 2, because you did the gathering evidence already, which kind of works, kind of works as your outline for the types of information that you want to put on your portfolio. So we're going to create a multi-page wireframe for your final sites. It's the main thing that we're going to get started on today. And we're going to talk about correctly setting up a pre-configured final project on the block day. We're not doing that today, because when I planned these last night, I forgot that I didn't want to do all of the unzipping and rezipping and doing all that, and it takes too long. So I'm just going to give you, instead, once you've done, if you look forward Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a group critique of your wireframe. Once you've completed all of your group critiques and you have a refined wireframe, then I will just give you the zip file or the zip final template off of my USB drive. So that's going to be the fastest way for us to start mocking up on Thursday, and then more work time on Friday. So for final context, I did not yet play the Monday morning message, so let's actually do that real fast. Not that. No, because I do not have flex tomorrow. Other teachers have flex tomorrow, but I don't because of yearbook distribution for seniors, so you cannot go to my flex tomorrow because I'm busy. You have, Tennyson, you have to go to my flex tomorrow. All right, hey, listen up real quick, please and thank you. This is the HAPS for the week.
Web Spartans 1 to 37 of the school year. It is already June. That is right. The sun is out. June is here, and that means we are weeks away from the school year being done. We are days away from our seniors graduating. And when I look at the weather forecast, I see a bunch of high 70s, 80 degrees for the next couple weeks, so we should have a beautiful graduation day here on June 11th next week. Also, one big reminder this week. On Friday, we start 12th grade senior finals. So we do not have a different schedule. We do not have an alternate schedule. The seniors start their finals on Friday with first and second period. Make sure you get on the website so you understand the schedule of when different periods test. And then remember, once you test in a certain period, you don't have to show up the next day. You are done. All right, everybody, let's make it an awesome week. Have fun. We'll see you out there.
Okay, so for my seniors, real quick, your final for first and second period is on Friday. Okay, that's not this class, but your first and second period finals are on Friday. Once you complete those in class, you no longer need to go to that period. Hey, listen up. You no longer need to go to that period. So seniors, after Friday, you have to start your day at third period. So Monday the 9th is when your third and fourth period finals are. So you'll go do those and then stick out the rest of the day, 5, 6, 7. And then your final for my class is on Tuesday the 10th, which is also the same date as your 6th period final and your 7th period final. So seniors, for all this final project stuff, you will have a slightly modified version to submit by then. That's the latest you can submit your project. And then for the rest of the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, it is due on Friday the 13th, so shortly after. But we have a little bit more time, and it's a little bit different. So, anyways, seniors, you need to have all of your parts of this project completed by the 10th for this class. Tuesday, June 10th. You have 8 days. So, how do you actually complete the final? Let me show you. This is for everybody now. You complete the final by completing these chunks. We're going to talk about the wireframing chunk today. Okay. I have broken this final into multiple parts, which will allow you to complete it with more detail and understand what you need to complete first. The way that you submit your final project portfolio is by completing the previous assignments, okay? This is kind of like how on the May notebook check, the way you submitted your Choose Your Own Adventure for those points was by uploading them to Canvas. Same thing is true here. This one is in the projects category, worth 50% of your grade, whereas these other ones are in the final category, worth 20% of your grade. How it's going to work from a scoring perspective is each of these smaller pieces are worth a small amount of points. You turn those in, you get the amount of points that, if you do them correctly and you have everything that they need, you get the points. Then, once they're all submitted, I'll put the same amount of points in the projects category so that you get a lot of extra points. And the final is heavier weight than some of the other projects. Okay? It'll make more sense as we complete more of these assignments. So, what assignment are we completing today? It is final wireframes. What you're doing is using you're creating a multi-page wireframe, 3 to 5 pages or more, because that's what's required on your final portfolio for your site. Okay? You have creative freedom in how this site is laid out, which is why I asked you the entry task that I did. Okay? How are you going to prioritize your information to grab the people who are interested within that half-second window? So, we know about slides is my preferred wireframing method. Not those slides, Google Slides. Create a new blank presentation real quick. Clear out the text boxes. And then add a couple more slides so that I have multiple pages to work with here on my slide. So, what I would recommend for your home page is a picture of you, a professional one. If you do not have a professional headshot, which I would understand since y'all are in high school, I am offering them because I have the yearbook cameras. You can use them beyond high school. You can use them for the rest of high school. If you would like a professional-looking headshot, I was a photographer before I was a teacher. I can help you out with that. So we'll do that later in the week. But we want that professional headshot to have a good amount of space. Hey, a lot of talking over in the 30 section of the desks. So, you want to insert a shape, whichever shape you like. And you want a majority of it to be that photo, okay? This is how I'm laying out my final site. This is the photo of me, okay? And I want it to take up a good amount of space, almost half of the site, so that my people who are interested go, oh, that's what they look like. And they're going to start associating all of my cool professional things, all of my cool work experience with a face. But what you need with a face is also a name. So I'd recommend inserting a box right next to the picture for your name. Okay? Then people are going to want a little bit more context about who we're looking at here. Hey, what are we doing? We want a little bit more context. This is a description or a bio for you. Okay? Now, with the rest of these slides, this is going to be what most of your home pages should look like. Okay? And you'll have the navigation bar across the top because you're using a template. It'll all work out in that regard. What I recommend for your other pages is one for some type of employment or volunteer or project history. Okay? We'll just call it real quick history. Something that's going to give people context for how you work, whether that is on a school project, whether that is on your other work experience, whether that is in volunteer situations, whether that is in your hobbies, whatever. You got a history page. I would also recommend on another page you add a shape for maybe some reviews. You can ask your friends, family / teachers / coaches / whoever to write you a little review, kind of like a letter of recommendation. Okay, so if you've already got a letter of rec, you can include parts of that, quotes of that, as text-based evidence on a review section. And then fourth and finally, we probably want one that's a little bit more specific to jobs and responsibilities. So I'm going to add just a shape here, responsibilities, and then I'm just going to copy and paste it a few times and just kind of start arranging. Okay? So what I want you to notice as I'm showing you this stuff is that I'm not really thinking about it too much. Okay? I'm not trying to be a perfectionist. What I'm trying to do is throw some paint at the wall and see where I want to go with it. Now that I've got some basic stuff laid out on a multi-page wireframe here, now I can kind of start adjusting. Now I can kind of start being a little bit more specific. Maybe I want my name to not be as big, right? If I could find the thing, there we go. Maybe I want my name to be a little smaller. Maybe I want my description to be a little bit more narrow, a little bit shorter. Maybe a little bit more aligned like this. And now I have a little bit of extra space to work with over here. Who knows what could go there? Maybe the photo of me goes across the entire top section with my name and my description down over here with a little bit of overlap. Okay? This is a process that takes drafts. It takes repeats. It takes iterations. It takes versions. Okay? And what I want you to do is give me a detailed wireframe for your final by calling this a final wireframe. Now, these are due on the end of Wednesday, June 4th, because during our block day, you'll have some more time to refine these, and you'll also be doing a little group critique of each other's wireframes. We will not start coding until Thursday. Okay? So, your job today is to create your multi-page wireframe with detail. Okay? You need a lot of detail. You need a lot of context. You need to summarize the information that you put on the gathering portfolio evidence, if it would load. Come on. Where is it? It's easier to find in modules. My assignments are kind of all over the joint. Gathering portfolio evidence. Okay. Your responses here. Give them sections on your wireframe here. Okay? Translate the work that you already did, the notes that you already took, and put them into sections on the wireframe. Since there's... I see. 1 second. I'm sorry. Last thing. There is no exact way to do this, which means that if you have the information presented here, arranged in a way that you like, that you think is effective, that works. That is correctly done. Okay? But the key word on correctly done is done, not so much correctly. Okay? Because if you have nothing to send to your client, they're not going to pay you. If you have nothing on your portfolio, they're probably not going to hire you. Okay? If you have nothing in your bank account, well, we know how that goes. So, get it done, then get it correct. Does that make sense? Okay. Justice, you had a question.
Get my files to upload it. Would you be able to help me with that?
Yeah, I can try something. Okay, so that's what you're doing with the rest of the period. You have an exit task, which we'll talk about really quick. It doesn't take much. So, you got about 25 or so minutes to wireframe. Work with each other, bounce ideas off each other, but you need to have something done by Wednesday. Okay, this is your final now. So you need to be taking this more seriously. Please and thank you. Okay, you can use Canva. You can use whatever wireframing system works for you. I just like Google Slides.
Wait, I have a question.
You have a question. What's up?
About like the picture on the left.
Okay, let me see. Let me stop this.